Hello and welcome back to Remnant 2. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the delay in making any more videos. Since my main character has been basically out, scuffed, I can't use them at all. I've been having to re-gear and make like a whole new character and get them up to speed to like try and do builds and stuff. And I'm not done yet. It's going to take so long to get them to the same level that I have my other character. Hopefully the issue gets fixed and then I can use my main guy. But we've been working on things. I'm pretty comfortable with where they're at right now and this build to just kind of show you how the ideal works. And we're doing like a heavy gunner type of setup. It's pretty fun and it's very simple. Like, it doesn't take very much to like get it off the ground. So let's go ahead and let's go over it. It's going to take three main pieces. And the first one, the main one, is the engineer. You want the engineer as your primary archetype because the whole setup is carrying the heavy guns, using the turrets as guns. So if you don't have the engineer, you can't do the build. So you need that. And then you're going to want it as your primary so that you can use the overclock ability and do more damage, infinite ammo, faster fire rate, all the things, and just do a lot of damage. And then depending on the situation you're in, you can use a Vulcan for some rapid fire constant DPS, flamethrower for some close range DPS and like fire damage. It also pierces guys. And then impact cannon for some long range damage, very heavy like single shot like burst damage. So depending on the situation, swap out the skills there. And then the other two main pieces you're going to want is going to be the Atari booster. So this is, while we carry a heavy weapon, we get 10% more damage and 10% critical chance. It's great, just more damage, right? We're going to be constantly carrying a heavy weapon, so that's a lot of extra boosts for us. And then the mechanics cog. This is a defensive utility choice. So while we have a heavy weapon on, we gain 15% movement speed and a stack of bulwark, which once we have the bonuses for carrying a heavy weapon, which gets us 15% damage reduction, plus that stack of bulwark, we are going to go from a 54% damage reduction up to a 65% damage reduction. It's a very good amount, very respectable. And we're not playing on Apocalypse. We are going to be playing on Nightmare because before I go into Apocalypse, I need to like 100% have absolutely everything upgraded and ready to go for that difficulty. But for right now, Nightmare's just fine. I think Nightmare's honestly the best difficulty in the game because it has the most challenge to it without being the like egregiously punishing. Like, if you make one mistake, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose and die. So I just find it has the best balance. Now, once you have those two rings, engineer class, you can do whatever you want. The armor, do whatever you want. We're using the technician armor because it's the armor for the engineer. I'm using the salvage heart because it's another Nerude one, and it activates faster, and that's a lot of fun. In it, you're going to want a defensive choice. I took health. You want skill damage because we're using skill. Our turret counts as skill damage, so doing that. And then skill cooldown because that's going to allow us to use the overclock a lot more frequently. So those I think are the best choices for the little rune shard things in there. The guns, weapon, melee weapon, handgun, whatever, use whatever ones you want because we're not focused on that. We're on the skills. And then the rest of the amulets and rings, there's a lot of flexibility. I'm currently using Index of the Scribe because it increases mod and skill weak point damage by 35%. So because our turrets are skills, whenever we get those weak point hits on those things, it's going to do a lot more damage. So this is my DPS choice. It does a lot. If you want, Hyperconductor doubles your heavy weapon ammo. Not bad. I enjoyed using it. But the bad thing is it increases our skill cooldowns and reduces our mod power regeneration. But that skill cooldown is going to mess up our overclock because our overclock cooldown is affected by skill cooldown. So when we have the hyperconductor thing on there, even though we have double weapon or double heavy weapon ammo, our cooldown on that overclock is a lot longer. So I find that too punishing. Another good damage choice would be the silver ribbon. I don't have the silver ribbon, I have the gold ribbon. But the silver ribbon gives you skill damage, and then when you activate a skill, it gives you haste. I think is a good choice. It's just nice for the extra damage on your turret. The last one I would kind of mention right now is the Navigator's Pendant. I think that's actually really good defensive kind of quality of life choice. Gives us 25 health, 25 stamina, and minus 10 armor encumbrance. We have 60 weight right now, so we put that thing on, and it drops us right down to a medium roll. It's perfect. It's like designed for the technician armor. It's a very good choice. I like it a lot. But we're sticking for damage right now. I'm going with damage. So we've got Index of the Scribe on. Atari Booster, Mechanics Cog. Now I've got the Shade Stone on. Increases our skill damage by 12%. Turrets or skills, that's another 12% damage. And then we've got Burden of the Destroyer on, another 15% damage. And it's 15% damage to everything we do, not just skills. And even though it reduces the ideal range of our firearms, we're never using our firearms, really. We're using the turret. So it does not seem to affect it. So that's my choice. If you don't want to use a Destroyer, though, the Crimson Dreamstone is kind of nice. Critical hits increase skill damage. We're doing a lot of skill damage. The bad thing is it just takes a lot of work to get it up to speed. And then it's only increasing your skill damage, where the Burden of the Destroyer is doing all of your damage. It's hard to beat that. Stone of Balance is another just flat damage increase. It just doesn't have the drawbacks, so that's kind of nice. If you're looking for another like defensive type of choice, I have found that the Low Yield Recovery Ring is really nice to round out our build because it allows us to regenerate health whenever we kill enemies. And while you're using a heavy gun, you got to be careful because you can't use relics, you can't use other skills. It's hard to, like, some things you can't interact with. So if you start taking a lot of damage, you have to drop the turret in order to heal. With the Low Yield Recovery Ring, it starts giving us regeneration so that we're actually healing up without having to drop the gun in order to heal. So I found that one to be a very solid choice as well. Now, obviously, depending on what you're doing and how you're feeling and what you have, you can use kind of whatever works best for you. So mess around, feel free to experiment. The secondary archetype, there's three main choices. I think Handler, for me, Handler has been the best so far because it does increase our ranged and skill damage. Increases our skill damage by 27% right now. And when we, why is it 27%? I feel like it needs to be different. I feel like it's going to upgrade one more time to give us a 30% ranged damage. And it does crit chance. So to me, best part of it right there. In addition, the dog just peels enemies for us, which is great as well. So on the whole, the dog has been great because he can draw aggro and then we just shoot down range while he's holding aggro, and it's fantastic. Now, you could go with the Alchemist because it just gives you a flat damage increase, which is nice. You can also use the Iron Mist skill to drop it, and then you have reduced stagger level, and you can just sit there and trade with enemies while you just shoot. And then you could do the Medic, which I don't have right now, but the Medic just, again, flat damage increase, gets you the triage thing. You could use a shield, a healing well, things like that. But I think, personally, for me, Handler, best choice, followed by the Alchemist. So, trait-wise, I don't have all my trait points unlocked yet. I still got a few more to go. But I think you're going to want your natural, like, defensive choice, whether it's, like, maxing out Vigor and Bark Skin. We've got points in Fortify because we have the Engineer. So, going with some defensive choices. But the main ones I would say you want to get are Footwork, so that you have increased movement speed while aiming. So, while we're aiming our turret, we're able to move around and maneuver faster. And then Fitness, so that our evades when we dodge are a little bit further. I think those are the perfect choices. Also, Siphoner, because we can't use our relics while we have the gun. So if we're getting lifesteal while we're shooting our turrets, it's going to help to keep us topped off if we're taking any little bits of damage. Now, obviously, that's not going to save us if we take huge chunks. But, you know, at that point, you just have to deal with it, right? But after that, I mean, put whatever points into whatever traits you want. Whatever works best for you. You know, I like little combinations of endurance or, you know, recovery just to get that little bit more stamina. Expertise is great because the skill cooldown is fantastic so that we can use overclock more often. And speaking of using overclock more often and skill cooldown, there is a ring that I would love to try, and I don't have it yet, but it's the Sapphire Dreamstone. And that one has us, whenever you get critical hits, it reduces your skill cooldowns by 3%. And I would love to see if that actually applies to the overclock ability, because if so, that could be pretty nice, where we can use our overclock a lot more frequently without having to invest super heavily into skill cooldown. Okay, I let myself get absolutely distracted and massacred. So, let's redo this room again. I'm not going to show that at all. We're going to do his aggro ability so that he is taking aggro, and then we can just maybe shoot things from downrange. Go, dog. Go, get them. Distract them. Oh, Lord. All right, overclocking it. Here we go. Start going. Get rid of some of them. Bam, 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 bam. Look at the damage increase on those weak spot hits. Goes from like 100 damage to 300. Isn't that great? 476 there. Very good for a rapid fire thing. Dodge that. There we are. Nice. Oh, gotta cool down a second. Boop. And he's gone. And now we go to the next room. And man, if that Sapphire's Dreamstone worked, that'd be so nice just to be able to get that overclock ability back a little bit faster. Now, when you use this build, you got to make sure you're pulling guys into controlled scenarios because, you know, you're very limited on the things that you can do. And so you need to make sure that you have control of the situation and that you're not letting yourself get staggered out of shooting, that, you know, you're taking a lot of damage and you're forced to drop the turret and heal up. So you really have to, like, control the battlefield. Aggro them, pull them back into a tight hallway or something. You know, get them from one direction so that you can really choose how you're going to engage with them. So, like, right there, I need to get rid of him and then focus on this dude. If I can hit him in the face, that'd be great. There we go. And then we keep going this way. Now, we're going to aggro him now while I can, like, see where he's at. Don't let him come to me. I'm going to go to him and get it started. I want to have control. And then maybe if I can hit him, that would be great. Oh, nice. And see, that's why I like the dog. He's hitting the dude. He's already, like, messing with them and just setting us up for victory. Can I shoot over this, please? Maybe? There we go. There's a little bit of damage. Now, see, it does have fallout damage. Did you see how it does have fall-off damage? So, like, I didn't, like, fully test to see if the Burden of the Destroyer really messes up the fall-off range of the turrets. It didn't really seem like it was like a hard yes, but it might kind of. But for the most part, most of your engagements, it's not going to be an issue at all, you know? And the thing is, I just don't think it does because your turret is a skill. Everything else about it applies with skills. Why would suddenly a firearm effect apply to your turrets when up to this point, nothing else has done it? All right, Shadow Gallery is going to be pretty good. Pretty good spot for us. And who knows, maybe I can get the Silver Ribbon, or maybe I can get the Dreamstone. Those would be, either one of those would be great things to find here. We're going to switch to the Flamethrower, though. And I kind of want to go on this, like, small kind of rant thing about the, what's it called? The Burden of the Destroyer. It's too good. It's just too good. Like, it has a drawback of reduced firearm range, but the, like, just flat damage increase it provides is just so strong, and most of the time I'm already pretty close to enemies, so I don't notice the reduced range. And so for the most part, the downside just isn't really a downside, and it just makes it so hard for me to justify using anything else when it takes so little effort to get a damage bonus because of the Burden of the Destroyer. Like the Crimson Dreamstone should be a decent choice for us because it's increasing skill damage, goes up to 15%, but it takes so much work to get that damage, and it only applies to the skill, whereas, you know, the Destroyer one, like, it just does the damage. So it's very frustrating. I kind of feel like it needs a little bit of a nerf or something, or it, like, needs to somehow be worse in a way so that, you know, other things can actually compete with them. It's just my feelings. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I just think it's just too much of a staple for many builds. Like, it just works too well. This is not either one of the things that I wanted. It's really frustrating. All right, fine. We'll go get the white pawn stamp because I don't have that one. Oh, man. Flamethrower is so satisfying, too. I did not like carrying the Flamethrower for a very long time. But it's grown on me so much since I've been using it. Because, like, I mean, right there, you just flame down some dudes and just watch them melt down. It's really good. And it's crazy that I didn't enjoy it so much before. Because when I played Deep Rock Galactic, the Flamethrower is one of my favorite guns to use. It's just really satisfying. And so, it just feels like I should have, like, really enjoyed using it here. And now I am actually really enjoying it. Dope. Dodging some of that. And then it just pierces through multiple enemies like that. Very nice. Just nice, you know? Let's put a point into fitness. Yeah, man. Sounds great. There's another ring. I didn't mention it earlier. It's the Ring of the Vein, I think. And what it does is it reduces the invulnerability window on our, like, dodge and slide and stuff. But it increases how quickly we move while aiming down sights. And that is really great while doing this. It actually works pretty well. So I found that one pretty enjoyable to do, but like I said, I'm just focusing on damage right now. I mean, look how we just, like, melted that dude. We just sat there and just flamed him down. He didn't get any real opportunity to do anything. And while I haven't, like, really done this on Apocalypse, like, I know with some better choices, you know, and, like, fine-tuned, like, more skills, better choices in our, like, traits, you know, and our better slot things in our relic, it's gonna work fine. It's good. The damage isn't bad. We've got decent survivability. Like, it should work just fine. And, I mean, nightmare-wise, like, you can see just how well we're just cooking through some dudes. No problem. We gotta watch for that archer, though. Him taking shots on us is pretty annoying. I was hoping the fire would finish him. There it goes. I also like how much ammo the flamethrower has right now. Like, that's another cool drawing point. So, we're at Magister Dullain. And I think what I want to use... Flamethrower could be pretty decent, but I think I want to try and pull out the impact cannon and see if I can't mess her up with that. So let's go ahead and swap to that one. Boom. And then we'll use our dog ability before we go in. Pull this out now. And let's start the fight and see how it does. Skip. Overclock it now while we're running. And you can overclock while sprinting away. Boom. If I can get some weak spot hits, that'd be awesome. Dodge, yeah, 3,000. Thick skin empathy. Okay. Thick skin messes up the our critical hits, right? So we got to be careful about that. Dodge to the side. Oh, I didn't get the weak spot hit. That's kind of a bummer. There's one. 4,000 damage, dude. Come on, get the weak spot hits. We got... Oh, why am I not shooting? Probably had to cool down or whatever. We gotta watch for the bodies, though. If we get locked in, we gotta make sure we have stamina to dodge. We can run really fast and just kind of avoid them like that. Dodge that. And I bet we're gonna be able to do enough damage. I think... Oh, that really hurt a lot. Alright, we're gonna have to... We're just gonna use a relic now. It's gonna heal him, which is really unfortunate, but I think we're gonna have to just take the bite. Take the bullet, whatever. Bite the bullet. That's the word. Break through. Come on. Boom. 146 damage, man. If we don't get a good hit, it's really unfortunate. Watch out for that impale one-hit KO. There we go. There's some damage. Dodge that thing. 2,600. Get ready to dodge around that. Oh, I'm stuck on a pillar. Whoa, I was wondering why I was having some issues. Boom. Missed the weak spot. Oh, dodge. Ooh. Dodge around. So... Part of the reason I was saying that I like Nightmare more than Apocalypse. So earlier, we got hit by a body. Didn't quite one-shot us. We took a lot of damage. But on Apocalypse, guess what? That would have killed us right away. And how frustrating would that have been? Like, to just make one little mistake like that, and then that's it. Like, you're dead. You got to start over. And it can be incredibly frustrating. That's one of the things I know that's part of the challenge of Apocalypse. That's the reason it's called Apocalypse, right? But that's why I think Nightmare is the best. Like, it's still challenging. Like, you have to make sure you're doing a good job. Like, you can't just be taking hits left and right unless you're, like, really designed to do that. And you got to make sure you have a decent build so that you win. But, I mean, we did find there was only that one instance where I was like, oh, wow, I might go down. And then that was it. We were good to go, man. Like, it's a very solid build. And we're not even full power, dude. That's the biggest thing. Not even full power. But that's it. That's for the video. That's the build. I hope you enjoy it. Give it a go. If you can get the good old, what's it called? Sapphire Dreamstone. If you have that on your character and you want to put it on, run the engineer and tell me whether or not it actually, like, increases, like, or decreases cooldowns and stuff. That would be fantastic. I would really like to know. Melee hits. Don't forget you have melee abilities, was the saying. Because I think that would be a pretty cool combination. I will keep trying to do some more builds. Hopefully my character gets fixed. I want to do a perfect dodge build next. That's my idea for the next one. Will I get to do it? Nobody knows. Also, I saw some new game and I want to try that out. And yeah, maybe I'll have that one posted. Who knows? But until the next time, thank you guys for checking it out. I do really appreciate it. Anytime anybody checks it out. You know, let me know what you think down below. If you tried similar things, all that kind of good stuff. Yada, yada, yada. But until the next one, take care.